Hersheypark can be overwhelming. Let's help you out. Hey everybody, it's Paul from the 125 Roller Coaster Challenge, and today's video is all about giving you a few cheat codes when you visit our home park of Hersheypark. Now, we've been visiting Hersheypark for over 30 years, and we have learned a few things during that time. Today, we're going to share a few of those hints that make your visit simply perfect. Now, whether this is the first time you are visiting the sweetest place on earth, or you have been a season pass holder for decades, we're making this video to help out everybody who wants to enjoy Hersheypark and what it has to offer. As we start discussing the tips, we're going to let you know if they're for beginners, like the first-time visitors, advanced fans, or the Hersheypark experts. We're also going to be adding a few hidden gems that we find that might not be tips, but are definitely things that are worth checking out. Now, before we start, if you want to learn more about Hersheypark, the history, the food options, the shows, and of course a complete walkthrough of the park, check out the link above to visit our Hersheypark playlist. Now, let's get started where everybody's day begins, the parking lot, and of course, the ticketing. Here's something we highly recommend the second you think about visiting the park. Go to the website. This is our beginner hint, but as you will see in a second, it is simply a must-do. The website is hersheypark.com, and when you get there, head right to the ticketing page. Right away, you will find internet deals like the ones we found when we made this video. A one-day ticket is usually $86.95, but on the site, it was $59.99 for adults and $52.99 for 3 to 8-year-olds and 62 years old and over. They also offer a 2-day ticket for $45 a day, which is usually $62.50 a day. You will also find some pop-up deals when you visit the website, like the $99 summer pass. So checking the website is always a must-do. And as for our advanced hint, get the season pass. Why? Well, first of all, you get the complete year, including springtime in the park, Halloween, and the holiday events, instead of just the summer session. Most of the passes also get you free parking. The bite-size only gets you about half off, but you will also get discounts on food and merchandise. Now, there are 4 tiers to the season passes, but which one is the best? Well, the newest tier, the Giant Season Pass, was sold out, but that really wasn't what we considered the best deal anyway. Yes, you get a lounge, you get 2 pre-kindergarten passes, and a free single-use fast track each visit, but it didn't really make it worth the cost for us. We recommend the king size pass because it had the most bang for the buck over the full size and the bite size option. Some of the perks of this king size pass are the year-long drink plan and 2 free park passes, which make the extra $70 over the year so much better than just the full size pass. Currently, the prices for the season passes are $170 for the bite size, $194 for the full size, and $270 for the king size passes. For reference, the brand new giant size was $420 a person. Now that the numbers are done, now let's talk about our expert hint when it comes to parking. Now, if you're doing the day pass, you are in general parking. So we recommend that you enter the lot and go all the way towards the back. Basically, you're heading towards Chocolate World. You want to do this for 2 reasons. First of all, if you park near Chocolate World, it's actually fairly close to the park entrance and very easy to remember when you go back hours later. Now, the second perk of the parking is that there is actually an exit located right there. So instead of having to drive all around the park and the stadium, you can pull right out and jump right on the Hersheypark Drive. Okay, now what do you do if you have a season pass and you are going to enter their season pass parking lot? What we like to do is, instead of driving into that whole lot and searching for a spot, which usually fill up pretty quickly, we jump right into a spot as soon as we pass the attendant. You're still fairly close to the entrance, and you can always find a spot there without fighting for the few spots that are available throughout the day. We tend to park in the same area every time, so we always know where our car is at the end of the night. The expert hint in this segment won't work for this season because we are pretty late in the game, but remember this for next year. Do not wait till your first visit to activate your card. So what do we mean by this? Well, if you get the king size pass, you get a swag bag and a drink cup. Well, you want to pick it up during the off season and during the week. If you wait until the park opens, you're going to waste an hour or 2 or 3 just to get your drink cup, and you never want to start the season that way. Okay, now let's talk about what you need to do once you get into the park. Our beginner hint is very simple. Do not go to Hersheypark on Saturday. No, stop laughing. I'm serious. This year I have stopped by on a few Saturdays, and the crowds and the lines were crazy. Even rides that are walk-ons during the week, we're looking at you, Super Duper Looper, had 90-minute waits. Now you add in groups and events that tend to take place during the weekend, and you can see why going on a Saturday is not worth the bang for the buck. Now, if you can only go on a Saturday this year, the advanced hint is very simple. Get the fast track. Now, we're not a fan of these at parks, but with Hersheypark on Saturdays, that's the only way to really get on rides. Now, they have 2 different classes of fast track, with the first one being for riding a list of attractions 1 time a day, while the unlimited fast track lets you ride those same attractions all day long as many times as you want. Just like Disney, they have a sliding scale with the fast track cost, with it being between $50 to $170 for the regular fast track, while the unlimited will set you back $75 to $225. Like I said before, I'm not a fan, but if you are only going to go during a busy day, go online and at least check out the pricing. Now, FYI, they also have the same program for boardwalk attractions, so even though the boardwalk is inside the main park, it is a separate fast track. Yep, very Disney. Now, the prices range on this front, with the fast track for the boardwalk being between $30 to $50, with unlimited being $45 to $65. And yes, there is a combo pass with the range of $85 to $220, and the unlimited fast track for both the boardwalk and Hersheypark, setting you back $120 to $290. Wow, that really escalated quickly. Now for a quick expert hint in this category. If you just want to go on a few rides, it is best to check the flow, and in regards to the coasters, the ride situation. Now, I went on a Saturday about a week ago, and the crowds were crazy. But by seeing where the crowds were, I was able to get on all the rides I wanted to without too big of a wait. So for example, when I went to hit Candymonium, I went during the midday because in the morning and the end of the day, this ride gets swamped. I also avoided Storm Runner that day because it only had 1 train running when it usually had as many as 4, while Wildcats Revenge and Candymonium had all 3 of their trains going. Now, never trust the wait times on the app, and we're going to go over that in the next section, which is rides. A beginning hint is very simple. If you have a season pass, you get a sweet start bonus where you get to enter the park an hour before the general public does. Now, as most people who have season passes now know, this isn't as big of a deal as it used to be, but it does give you a head start getting to Wildcats Revenge and the other rides in the back of the park as the park opens. Now, let me explain this. The Sweet Start isn't the entire park, but rather just the front of the park. So Candymonium, Sky Rush, those are part of the Sweet Start. Now, what I like to do is when I arrive, I try to get there around 10:30 so I can walk right into the Sweet Start halfway through it, and instead of riding anything, I go right to the barricade and wait until 11 a.m. Then I'm able to head right to Wildcats Revenge, and that is my goal for that day. But it also works if you are trying to get a great spot at the boardwalk. So instead of riding rides during the Sweet Start, use that time to get a head start on the rest of the crowd. Now for me, this head start means a lot more than a quick ride on Candymonium. So now it's time for an advanced hint, which is also very simple. When you go to Hersheypark, do not use the wait time app. Now wait, did you just hear that correct? And even though it might have changed this year, historically, Hersheypark does not have the best system for mapping out the wait times. As a matter of fact, the last time I went, it showed the rides as closed for pretty much most of the day. Now, while Six Flags and Cedar Fair are always updating their wait times, when it comes to Hershey, in the past, it was really just a random guess. If you follow the app, it actually might be a negative. What we do is we just go with the flow. So instead of darting around the park chasing that lower wait time, we actually kind of look at the lines and make our judgments that way. The expert hint when it comes to rides is for you to realize that you are not going to get on everything in one day at Hersheypark. It is almost impossible, especially if you want to try to do more than just the roller coasters. Some of them have wait times of up to an hour, even on a Tuesday in July. And with 15 coasters to choose from, it's a challenge that usually ends in failure. Now, knowing this up front will eliminate a lot of stress, and you just need to prioritize what is most important to you. If you have a season pass like we suggested in the beginning, there's always tomorrow. Now, a few hidden gems when it comes to rides is for the kiddie rides, go to Tiny Tracks, Granny Bugs, and a few others in the back of the park by the Ferris wheel. The lines tend to be lower than most other kiddie sections. For family rides, your best bet is to stay towards the front of the park by the Music Box Theater. There you will find the bumper cars, Cup Fusion, the monorail, and even the train. And for thrills, Pioneer Frontier gives you 3 coasters, Jolly Rancher Remix, Fahrenheit, and Storm Runner, along with the Claw and Howler. And you know we have to talk about the roller coasters, and when at Hersheypark, all their coasters are really good, but here are 2 that tend to fly under the radar. The Great Bear is the inverted coaster that flies through the hollow, and even though a lot of people know it, not everybody knows this, it's quite an amazing ride, and it just doesn't get the hype that the other coasters do. And another often missed coaster is Storm Runner, which is the most intense launch that we have ever encountered. Now, it's not going to be the fastest, but this launch really does pack a punch. Alright, now who's hungry? Let's talk about a few hints when it comes to the food. The beginner hint is another Hersheypark add-on, and that is the dining deals. Now, this hint is for the daily and not the season pass holders. Now, if you're there for a day, they have the all-day drink and the all-day dining deals. But I have to say, avoid these. At the price point of $24.36 for drinks and $42.39 for meals, it is easier to bring your own drink bottle and fill it with water throughout the day, and then at the end of the night, visit the Wendy's across the street. Hersheypark also has a single meal deal for $19.06. Now remember, these prices are per person, and the fact that the lines are always pretty large at the food stands, even when you can get a meal every 90 minutes, the reality is you're only going to get 2 meals at the most, and that cost for all of these meal plans is simply not worth it. Now, we recommend the opposite when it comes to the season pass holder. We recommend the dining deal, but only a certain one. So for 2024, Hersheypark has 2 dining options for season pass holder. They have a once a meal and twice a meal a day. Now, there's only a $25 difference, but there really is only one you should choose. The once a day dining is $124, while the twice a day is $149. Now, I personally got the once a day to start the season, but quickly learned the big negative. It's only accepted at limited locations. Seriously, if you like pizza, chicken strips, and burgers, it might work out for you. But if you want to eat at Moe's, get a cheesesteak, or go to the smokehouse, you're gonna need the twice a day plan. Now remember, you can get 2 meals a day, but they have to be 180 minutes apart, so about 3 hours. But the positive is that this season pass is good for March 29th all the way to September 8th. So if you go 3 times, it paid for itself if you're comparing it to the daily price. Okay, now for the expert hint. When you have a season pass meal plan, hit the food as soon as you get into the park, especially if you're a local. You want to get those 2 meals in, and as somebody who likes to hit and run when it comes to the park, if you don't grab food right away, you tend not to be at the park long enough to use both. Now, for the hidden gems, there are 3, and they might not be what you expect. First, while historically the Spring Creek Smokehouse was my go-to location, that has actually changed for 2024 with the upgrades that happened to the Overlook Food Court. The menu at the food court has expanded to offer meatball subs, wraps, and sides like garlic knots and mac and cheese. For me, This place is great because of the outdoor seating is second to none and has a great view of the Hollow. Another gem is the Coaster Dogs at the Burke's stand in the Pioneer Frontier section. Now, I didn't know this was a dining option until I was researching this video, but they do have the best custom hot dog menu of any park I've ever been to. Now, finally, when you're heading out for the day, hit up the kettle corn stand. You're going to thank me later. Okay, games and shopping is the next category, with the beginner hint being, if you like games, make sure you keep your game card. Now, these do not expire, so if you load up money at the beginning of the season, just keep the card and keep on playing and playing as long as you want. The advanced hint is that while there are games all over the park, the Midway by the Ferris wheel and the Hollow has skee ball, which, let's be honest, is really the only game you really need to know about. And finally, there are stores throughout the park, but if you're looking for some general merchandise on Hersheypark, the Hersheypark Supply Company is the perfect store. It has most of the merch that is found throughout the park, but is also the exit. So instead of dragging bags all around the park, you can just get it and then you leave. Now, hidden gems for stores has to be the Christmas Memories, which is located in the front of the park and has great ornaments and also has custom Christmas merchandise that you can shop all year round. Two more stores to check out is the Coaster Collectibles, which is the roller coaster enthusiast's dream, with all the latest coaster merch all in one place. And the brand new Hersheypark Toy Box is a different concept for the park, with classic and modern toys for all to enjoy. Hey, they even have Light Bright. Finally, here are a few more hints before we end this video. Now, there is a hidden path on the right side of the main path when you enter the park, and it takes you directly to Sky Rush and the Super Duper Looper. Now, sometimes this path is closed, but if you find it, you can see it near the HP Go store. It cuts down on a lot of walking throughout the day. Another hint is that when the crowds get overwhelming at the park, you can always visit Zoo America with its location by the drop towers, or you can exit the park and enjoy Chocolate World. Now, both are free to enjoy, but remember to get your hand stamped when you leave, because both attractions have their own entrances, and you will need that stamp to get back into Hersheypark. And finally, there is a whole world beyond the park to enjoy when you're visiting Hershey, PA. There are so many other attractions, such as Trogues Brewery, Adventure Sports of Hershey, and of course downtown Hershey with Devon and Finici's for restaurants, the Hershey Theater, and of course the Hershey Story Museum. Now, some hidden gems for downtown include Desserts Etc. for some amazing sugary treats, ice cream at Philip Arthur's Cafe, and the Fresh Market at Hershey Town Square, which is a great place to grab lunch. So, how did we do? What hints do you have that we might have missed? Let us know in the comment section. And until next time, thank you for watching as we ride to 125.